What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RC's Gateway to Comics. Today we are going to be talking about how to get through a dry spell in your writing. Now, I covered a tiny bit of this whenever I was telling you guys about my unpublished novel, but I wanted to dive into this and give some other suggestions on how to get through a dry spell. So, the first one that I'm going to mention is the one that I used whenever I was creating the Red Sky series. And this is from whenever I was still working on the unpublished novel. And I was working on the sequel to it, and I had the unfortunate experience of just losing the passion for the project. And I was going through a bit of a dry spell at the time, brought on by that loss of passion. So I decided to move on to a new project, that being A Red Sky is Upon Us. And that brought me out of the dry spell because it was a new project. It was something that I could work on in my free time, and I had passion for it. I didn't know if that passion was going to last at the time, but it ended up lasting me through 5 books now and more to come in the future. I already have several different volumes lined up for it, so I can certainly hope that it's going to keep building from here on out. But using that lack of passion for the original project and working on something else that I did have passion for helped to break me out of that dry spell because it gave me something different to work on. And seeing as either one could have been a sink or swim, then I found which one worked best for me, and it has continued to work out well for me. So with the first one being to work on a new project, the second suggestion that I would have about trying to get out of a dry spell in writing would be to force yourself to work on small little bits of the story that you're currently working on. Now, this may be a little bit more difficult of a scenario because you may be losing the passion for it. But if you force yourself to do it, then you may be able to either get through that boring section of the story and get to a part that actually reinvigorates your passion, or you would be able to trick yourself into having that passion grow again. I did not go down that path because I was working on, obviously, Red Skies Upon Us. But if I had forced myself to continue with the unpublished story, then there were some parts in that story that I already had in my head, and I just had to reach them. But I didn't want to force myself to do that because I was already working on something else. If I had gotten to those points in the story and I was able to reinvigorate that passion, then I might have been able to continue working on it. But with how all that stuff lined up, it didn't work out for me. It may work for you and your story and your way of getting yourself out of a dry spell, but for me, it didn't really. Now, my third suggestion of trying to get out of a dry spell is something that would be a little bit easier. And this would just be coming up with other ideas that you could work on. This doesn't mean that you need to start on those ideas. This is just coming up with the ideas. And I've already done a video on creating ideas, so I don't think I need to go into that. But even just writing down an idea and seeing if it's something that you might want to switch to, Heck, I mean, whenever I was writing the 5 books for the Red Sky series, I probably came up with at least 40 different story ideas unrelated to the Red Sky series. And all of them were quite intriguing at the time. They boosted my creative abilities because I was already coming up with these placeholder stories that I could work on after I was done with the Red Sky series. And it kept me focused on the creative writing aspect, and it kept my passion for said creativity going. So I was able to still have that passion in my mind, and since I was currently working on the Red Sky series, I was able to funnel most of that passion to that work. Now, in the back of my head, I still had all those ideas, and I was able to have little bits of creative passion flowing to those, but most of it was going towards my current fiction writing. So I wasn't really dropping out of passion for any of those ideas because I was able to keep myself from reaching that dry spell break because I had a constant flow of passion from all of these different ideas, keeping it in my head. So out of all of these, I'd probably say the number one thing to keep in mind with any of these suggestions that I've listed is the passion behind it. Whether that be diverting that passion elsewhere, forcing that passion to grow, or creating other things to help grow that passion, to repurpose it on your current project. All of this stuff, I feel, could help you get through a dry spell in your writing, and it could be extremely beneficial and bring you something that you are extremely proud of. I know that I'm very proud of my work on the Red Sky series, otherwise I wouldn't be continuing to work on it. And all of that is because I was able to get myself through a dry spell in writing. What are you guys' experiences with pushing yourself to get through a dry spell? I'm curious, so let me hear that down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring lessons like these to fellow creatives. Also, if you enjoy pirate stories, then feel free to check out my fiction books, the Red Sky series. It's a pirate story that's available on Amazon and Kindle, and if you do check them out, then I hope that you really enjoy them. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace out.